Welcome, folks. It's Marshall. Thanks for tuning in to the show. So, I had an email request from a viewer, and they were asking specifically about the D05. The D05 is the D50 boutique, basically. It's basically a D50 shrunk down into a nice little package with all the same control interface as regular D50. Now, the question was, how do you audition PCM samples using the front panel? So I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. It's not that complicated once you understand how the D05 works. So if you or any of your friends are looking at this as a potential issue, just refer them to this video and hopefully this is helpful. So first thing we need to do is take a look at the D05 programming guide. Now this can be had on the Roland website. Please download this. This is your Roland D05 Bible. This will tell you everything you need to know about the D05. And the reason why I'm pulling this up is because the way the D05 works and the D50 is it uses layers. There's an upper and a lower layer, and then there's two partials per layer. And in this case, what we want to do is tell the D05 that on one of the partials at least, we want to be able to hear the PCM sounds. And if we look here on page 8, we see the structure number can be set from 01 to 07, so 1 through 7. And if we go up to the top on the right-hand side here, we see what these letters mean. There's P's and S's and R's, and what the hell is that? So S stands for synthesizer sound generator. Now in the D05 and the D50, you have two virtual analog waveforms. There's a square and a saw. Okay, and then P stands for PCM sound generator, and that's where you get all the different sounds like marimba and vibraphone and probably some piano stuff and organs and all that kind of stuff. That's what this gentleman was asking. How do you audition these? So. And then there's ring modulation. So anyway, what we want to do is go back to our little guide, little chart here, and we can see the default, well, number 01 is basically synthesizer waveforms. Number 2 is synthesizer waveforms with ring modulation, and number 3, that's where we get at least our first option to hear PCM sounds on partial 1. Partial 2 is still synthesis, however. So, and this continues through, obviously. The other one would be 06, which would give you partials on PCM samples on both partials. So let's go back over to our D05. All right, so first thing we have to do is get to an init patch. That's my recommendation. To do that, you want to hit the preset user button here. And you see it flashing. You can increment and decrement your user bank. So user bank 8 for me is the init patches, and you can go to anyone that you want. You can even do this on a regular patch if you want, but a init patch is a little easier to hear what's happening. So we've got that selected. I'll select preset 4 in my user bank 8. Or 14, I guess. So what we want to do then is we've got our init patch figured out here. We're going to hit edit, which is right here, and the edit button is selected. We're going to use our left. You could do either one. You can either go left or right on here. It's going to bring up the L tone or the U tone. That's the upper and lower tones I was talking about. Those are actually showing up here. And lower is here, upper is here, and you've got two partials for each. So we have basically 4 different sound generators going. So we're going to go into the U tone, all right, and then we're going to go into common, and this is where we see structure. So this is the first thing you should always do when programming on the D05 or the D50 is set your structure. Again, reference the manual and figure out if you want PCMs or ring modulation or conventional virtual analog. Square sine wave. Anyway, so we're in here, and again, based on our chart, we know that structure value 03 is going to get us where we want. So we're going to hit F1, which will have this flashing, and then we'll hit the increment button to increment that up to 3. So we'll hit that twice, and then we can just back out by pressing exit. So, and I think we need to back out one more time. Yep. We probably didn't need to go back out that far. Anyway, so we go back to the TNAME common page, and we'll hit the left or right arrow keys, and that'll get us to the partials. So again, partial 1 is what we want, so we'll hit partial 1, and then we can hit form. Now that's waveform. So in this case, since we have changed our structure, right now we will not hear the wave form that is selected in the init patch. What we will hear is actually, well, we will hear some waveforms because we have all these activated. But if we turn all these off and go to upper 1, there we go. Now we're hearing just PCM. Now to see the PCM options and to be able to scroll through them, we want to hit the right arrow key, and we can see PCM. We got number 1 is marimba. So I'm going to hit the F1 key, and that will be flashing. And using the increment buttons, all of a sudden, I am auditioning PCM samples, one at a time. And piece of cake, right? Clear as mud. No, actually, it's not that bad. It took me 5 minutes to look up the manual again because I couldn't remember how the partials or how the structure needed to be for PCM. But once I did that, then I was able to get right in here. Now I'm pretty familiar with this. I've done a lot of programming on the DO5. But yeah, I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I will try and answer whenever I can. I try and be as helpful as I can on this channel. And yeah, if you like this, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. We're close to 2,000 subscribers, guys. Getting super close to that. That's quite a milestone for the channel here, so I'm very excited. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. And this has been Marshall. Have a great one.